All right, guys, going over my trade of the day, me fucking dialed in, making myself better, right? Super great trade. I give myself a B plus. I think this was a great trade, risk wise, confirmation wise, all the good things. The only thing that I didn't do was hold steady to my thesis. If I would have held steady to my original thesis and my invalidation area, I would have had a big winner on my hands. And I need to notate this. But let's jump right into it. On the 4 hour, I was trend bias to the downside because we had a lower low and a lower high on the 4 hour. And this was the hour candle that I was watching, right? It also lined up with a lot of weekly volume profile levels and different pivot points. But jumping into my actual trade executions, I tried the second trade, which was awesome. I just mistimed it. I'll go over it in a second. But I also missed this first entry because my main point today was 7496. That's where Friday's close was. And we had a ton of trapped participants to the buy side at 7,500. And we had a lot of delta and volume at the 7496 mark. Okay. So when we closed this big red candle on high volume at opening range, I'm interested, but we're still underneath, we're still within opening range, right? That second candle came in with higher volume than the first candle, and it couldn't even get above halfway up that candle. That told me we had a shit ton of fucking weakness, and I was super interested. I was super interested, um, and oh, fuck, yeah, I'm super fucking interested, and I should have went short. I should have went short on that next candle when there was lower than average volume, right? My right here, it gave me a confirmation with that high volume, um, and it gave me confirmation, and I didn't get the entrance because I was also scared of this pre-market low 7486. That was still within zone, so you got to think 7494 to 7496 was still a unknown zone, and I didn't know if we could potentially bounce back into this range or something before moving down. So I was a little nervous to take this shot. But I did have great confirmations here, and I didn't capitalize. I had enough volume divergences, weakness, all that stuff, and I just didn't capitalize. I didn't want to take too big of a risk, and I would have needed that. On this second entrance, my thesis was we had incredible volume to the downside, and again, we had a larger volume 5 minute candle following with a ton of trapped participants, a shit ton of them. My thesis was there was so much volume on that candle, and it couldn't even reclaim 50% of that last candle. And our prior weekly low at the 7470, 7469 mark is right there. Most likely, we're going to go test that unless more volume comes in than the last candle. That was my thesis. My entry, um, my entry on the 5 minute. This was the 5 minute. This was the range candles. But my entry was see we were sitting in this range. All that volume came in. Lots of trapped participants right here. I should have had my stop up here, minimum. If I was really smart though, I would have used my invalidation area 7480. So I'd have been risking 5 points for my profit target at 7455, which would have been a fucking 5, 6, 7, 20, a 20 point move. 5 points for 20, a 4 to 1R. That's what I should have risked, but instead I risked a little less. I risked 3.75 points, thinking about, if it's really weak, it's going to break this low and it's not going to come back up here, which is also good. I'm not mad at myself. I didn't want to risk a big day and have a big loss. So instead, I did that. It did fake me out, but it is what it is. I thought that was a great trade. I just could have held my thesis a little bit better, but I also was I was more cautious on just managing my risk, right? I mean, especially it being on a retest level rather than that initial breakdown. That initial breakdown, I definitely should have got in with the full 5 point risk type of size. But on this one right here, I'm happy. I'm totally cool with what I did. We're not going to have a ton of these days where we go straight freaking down, and I think me managing my risk was appropriate. But the trade worked out exactly how I wanted it to, and I'm cool with it. I missed it. So now we just from this loss, I'm really taking it in that, like, bro, like, stick to your entire thesis and always consider your invalidation zones. Like, if I really prioritize my getting the best entrance I can near my invalidation zone, I have the best opportunity of success, especially for a big move like a reversal. If we're doing a continuation trade, just kind of like we are, I think it is a little it is smart to keep stops really tight so that we don't get involved in something bad unless we're at a major level. Because clearly, when we're not like a super major level or anything, it could easily went up a lot higher to a better wear. Yeah, it would have been a better trade. But long story short, I think this was a great trade using volume divergences outside of my opening range. You know, I had clear high probability targets. We had higher frame trend. We had 5 minute closes, confirmations. We had open high, low close, pre-market daily and weekly chart levels. We used volume, the volume profile, VPOX. We had all kinds of nice, pretty things to do on that. We were outside the opening range. We had trap participants on the win. We had the structure breaks, right? The lower lows, all that good there, all that good place. We weren't near an invalidation point. If we got an entry there, closer to an invalidation point, this would have been even better. You know, so long story short, yeah, great trade. Could have been better, especially if we were able to get in near a invalidation point. You know, we had prior day volatility as well. I mean, this was a great fucking trade setup today, and I missed it. Okay, stop recording.